How's everyone doing? Coffee check? Coffee kicked in? Fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed the manufacturing session and the address from His Excellency Paul Kagame. Next, we have a very interesting session, Restarting Zimbabwe, where we will be looking at how Zimbabwe has used the pandemic to embark on an interesting economic transformation program. So for this, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to invite to the stage His Excellency, Honorable Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Excellency. Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
It's great to see you here in Dubai. I always joke that Zimbabwe is a brother-sister country to Ghana because the first lady of Zimbabwe, Sally, was Ghanaian.
Sure, you're quite correct.
Exactly.
That was our mother. We miss her a lot.
Yes. So, Your Excellency, the first question I have for you is, if you could tell us about how Zimbabwe responded to the pandemic and some of the innovative and unique ways in which your government was able to take the crisis and to turn it into opportunity.
Thank you. You are aware that when COVID struck the entire world, no country was spared, and equally were also affected. And the first thing we had to do was for our President, His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa, had to declare a state of national disaster on the 17th of March 2020. And at that time, we had not yet witnessed a case of COVID in our country, which then followed, unfortunately, 3 days later on the 20th of March. And on the 30th, we had already had our first lockdown measures put in place for every 21 days rolled over, depending on the severity of the situation. Having done that, combining our efforts and those of the World Health Organization, like the social distancing, masking up, and all that, which is now common knowledge, we made sure that industry, the businesses, were not going to be affected. And when COVID struck us, we were in the middle of a transitional stabilization program, where we wanted to stabilize our economy, which had started. That program had started in 2018, October 2018. And so we were already in full throttle. And when COVID struck us, yes, we got affected. It was a shock for us, but we quickly turned that adversity into an opportunity. And we accelerated our development. We realized, taking into account the advantages we have, that we have an educated population. We are number one on the African continent in terms of education. And so we said all our institutions of higher and tertiary learning and colleges had to go into research and development. And we also re-engineered our industry to rise to the occasion. And every ministry, in particular the Ministry of Health, which I also lead, we then had the triple helix formed by those three ministries. The research and development being done by the higher and tertiary education, and the Ministry of Health giving the requirements of what we wanted achieved, and industry then producing. So in no time, we found ourselves producing PPEs, producing sanitizers, producing face masks, producing drugs, medicines, and right up to the point that we are now producing medical oxygen for our hospitals, and so we don't have to, we are self-sufficient in that area. And we continue to do that. So this is what now was then the opportunity, which was also a disadvantage, but it became an opportunity to us, the coming of the pandemic. Now, we said, okay, having looked at this, what else can we then now, do that we have been struck by this pandemic? Borders were no longer open as one would have thought. Movement of goods and services became slow. And we said, okay, let's utilize our local, ability, our local opportunities, and we put our people together. And we saw the rise from 36% of capacity utilization in manufacturing rising to 47%. And this year we are looking at it getting to 61%. On the retail sector, the consumables now on our shelves have now risen up to 70%. So our requirement to say, buy Zimbabwe and eat Zimbabwe then became a reality. And when you go in our shops, you will find all the shelves are full of the local production. So this pandemic, we also tended to say what capacities are are with us. How can we fully utilize those capacities? How can we develop them? And so this is what we have done with when we had this outbreak.
Great. No, thank you, Your Excellency. And it's clear that the disruption in global supply chains has accelerated this impetus to increase local manufacturing, which follows on some of the themes we heard early this morning and yesterday. Right. So manufacturing is clearly a promising sector given the circumstances. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the other sectors that you think are most promising for investments that foreign investors should pay attention to in Zimbabwe?
Sure. Zimbabwe is endowed with natural resources. It has got good climate, good soils, and is properly positioned. In the Southern Africa area, our centrality of that region, has got its great advantages for interconnection with all the countries. Now, if we can start with our good weather, our climate, and our good soils, comes agriculture. There is no crop which cannot be grown in Zimbabwe. You can grow every crop. We have now done the study and the research, and we found that every part of Zimbabwe, every crop can be grown. We also pride ourselves for having one of the biggest rivers on the African continent, the Zambezi River, which is fourth largest river on the African continent. We share the border with Zambia with that, with that river. We also have other major rivers like the Save and the Limpopo, which we have got the common boundary with South Africa on the Limpopo River. And it is in these valleys that we are now developing. There are good soils, there's plenty water. Coming in the inland of the country, Zimbabwe has got 10,700 dams, is the most dammed country on the African continent. And therefore, with the climate change, the only way you can guarantee production of crops and productivity is through irrigation. Then with irrigation, you can grow anything. And what now is now required is to make sure that we now capacitate and develop the agriculture sector. And we are online to develop 350,000 hectares to have been all achieved by year 2024. So we can now be able to grow sufficient and also for export. By that, this year, we've just managed to achieve our strategic reserve of 1.5 million. But by that, we would be producing, by 2024, we'll be producing in excess of 2 million tons, metric tons of grain, which is way, way above what we need, and we will also be exporting. We also are looking at revamping our horticulture area, our flowers, and our beef, our goat meat, our mutton, lamb. All these are areas which we wanted to develop. In the mining areas, we have got over 62 minerals, from gold, platinum, nickel, lithium, coal, methane gas, all these, and an array of 17 rare earth metals. And this is an area where investment can be done. We are also looking into the area of tourism. We have one of the world wonders, the Victoria Falls. We cannot get it anywhere except in Zimbabwe. And it is in that area where we also have the big five. They were elephant, rhino, black rhino, lion, buffalo, leopard, in that area. Yeah. A country as small as Zimbabwe with a capacity to carry only 35,000 elephants, we are currently standing at 93,000 elephants.
Wow.
Just to give us an example on what we have. The rhino population, we've got the biggest rhino population on the African continent, and we pride that in the whole of the, in the whole world, we have the biggest population of the black rhino. Yeah. So this is the area where tourism offers great opportunities. Yeah. From conservation to to whatever, and the ICT and the financial services. These are areas for which are on offer.
Yeah. Great. Well, Your Excellency, this has been fascinating. To recap, Zimbabwe took the COVID-19 pandemic and used that as an opportunity to accelerate its manufacturing. I've never seen a more interesting pitch for agriculture, where His Excellency says, with climate change, Zimbabwe is basically your hedge, right? That's actually one of the most fascinating agricultural pictures I've seen, where you're effectively saying a climate change investment is invest in Zimbabwe as a hedge against what's happening. They did not see that coming. That's been fascinating, and of course Victoria Falls and all it offers with the animals. So quite interesting, and I hope the investors here in this room will look into those sectors.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for gracing us with your presence at GBF, and thanks for sharing all these exciting initiatives and investment opportunities in Zimbabwe.
You're welcome. Thank you.